to make a difference in your community. Over 200 Community Futures offices are located throughout Canada and provide small business services to people living in rural and northern communities. In Manitoba, there are 16 regions, 5 of which are located in the north. Community Futures North Central Development serves the North Central region, which consists of 17 communities. Our office is guided by a board of directors comprised of members from each community. So, what exactly do we do? We assist communities with business and community development by offering a variety of supports and resources, such as business loans, training workshops and information sessions, and providing one-on-one support to entrepreneurs. In other words, we are the place to go to when you want to find out how you can start, manage, or grow a business, or get a community project off the ground. Over the next few weeks, you are going to hear us talking about social enterprises. So I want you to get familiar with what a social enterprise is. Basically, it's a business that can be run by an individual, a group of partners, or even a whole community. But rather than its focus being on making a profit, the focus is more on how the business helps the community. Or in other words, what is the social impact of that business? It kind of falls somewhere in between being a non-profit organization and being a for-profit business. So welcome to Business Basics Community Conversations, and let's see if you can get inspired to make a difference in your community. Well, good afternoon. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 5 territory, home of the Cree, Dene, Inuit, and Métis people. Hi, Roy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm excited about today's show.
Right.
But before we get into all of that, I wanted to review, we've been talking about social enterprise, and I wanted to review some nuggets of wisdom. We've had 3 different guests so far on the show, and they've all shared a little bit of advice for us. And I just wanted to review what that advice was. So we've got love what you do. And I think that was Ken that said that.
He does. He loves what he does, the puppet guy. Who wouldn't love that? Yeah, we've got know your community and what they want and what they need, which is goes in hand with rocket greens. We need the greens, and we get them. Next.
Yes, exactly. And Carly also shared, that you need to figure out your financing sources early on before you get, you need to know where's the money coming from.
Kind of helps, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
And start with what you have, no matter what you got. You got a little sock, I think, yeah. Also, Ken said he started puppeteering with just a sock in his hand. If you've got the passion, you'll make it happen. And no matter what, no matter how you want to start, just start with what you have.
Yes, exactly. And then last week, Stephen shared one more. He said, really, you need to create partnerships. And I really liked that one too, especially, the bigger the project is, you need partners. And he had touched on even just knowing what's going on in your community, because he said, if somebody's, say, clearing an area for whatever they're building, that open area might be an opportunity for you to set up your beehive or whatever, right? Like, just sometimes things are happening in the community that you can partner with, so you don't have to be doing it twice. So today, our guest, we've got a fantastic guest today. Roy, I'm going to let you introduce him, and we're going to get a lot of knowledge today about social enterprise. So I'm super excited to have him.
Yeah, excellent. Well, today, guys, he's not just a helicopter pilot and an author. We've got Jody Linklater. He's the CEO of Clean Communities Corporation, and is also the co-founder of the Indigenous Youth Build Canada, who helped establish the program at ATEC in Nelson House, which is helping train young Indigenous people in renewable energy systems and much more on top of that. And he's doing so much. So we're really lucky to have Jody on the show. Let's bring him in and say hello there. Hello, guest. Hello, Jody.
Welcome, Jody. We're so happy to have you here on our show.
Hello.
So we'll get started right away. I know Roy already touched on the fact that you are a helicopter pilot, you're an author, and there's tons more stuff that you're going to tell us a little bit about, but tell us a bit about what you do and how you got involved in this project. And yeah, I'll let you do the talking.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much. So the project at ATEC, the Atoll Ski and Training and Employment Center of Excellence, and Piwapan, which just means a new day, started back in 2015. And what we did was we were a social enterprise, and still are for the most part. And we found that there was a gap in the community. And so what we did was we were teaching level 1 technical training with the students. And I was looking for and got pretty frustrated with what was happening in terms of if education is such a good thing, then where's the evidence thereof? And so we were teaching level 1 technical training at the time to about 11 or 12 carpenters. And but there was really nowhere for them to work. So we needed to come up with an innovative solution. And so the thought process at the time was, well, let's bid on some houses. And we saw a request for proposals come across the table. And so I asked if we could bid on those houses. There was resistance from ATEC because they were in the business of education. They weren't in the business of building homes, which is understandable. And so what we did was we decided to not listen to that advice. And we decided to teach the students basic cost estimation. And we brought in carpenters, 3 of them, to teach us how that looked on paper. And we in then turn taught the students, and they were able to bid on those houses. And about a week and a half later, we found out that they were awarded to build houses. That really didn't catch anybody by surprise until the day they picked up the hammer. And when that happened, we were able to pay them the Manitoba provincial rates. And at that time was $19.26 per hour for level 1 carpenters. So now for the first time, ATEC was now in the business of education and training. And so we had them in class for half day, and then the later half of the day, they would go and they would build these houses, these energy efficient homes. And so we were able to do that. And the exercise at that time was we built 2 houses in, I think, 84 working days. And then we brought in another person from Winnipeg who was, I guess you could say, what do you call them? An inspector, to make sure that the houses were up to standard and they were above, at par, or beyond what you'd expect in some urban centers. So then we decided to talk about, okay, when a student comes into to ATEC, where do they go? Like, what is the process, the intake that needs to happen in order for them to get a seat at the table, or for them to, go to training? And so I'm just going to bring up an example here. I'm going to share a screen, and this right here, as an example, is the intake education to training pathway that was developed by not just ATEC and Piwapan, but by members of the community. And what turned out, what we thought was a relatively easy process, ended up taking about 26 months to complete. It's a living document. But because of that, ATEC and Piwapan, which are now a labor market intermediary, and I can explain that later, we have a success rate of training to employment now from 85 to 100% success rate, which is pretty phenomenal. And
wow. So can I just ask you a question then? So
Sure.
It's not just about training them, doing the technical training of how to build houses. There's I noticed that whole social readiness component and looking at essential skills.
Absolutely.
Because all of those things are what help make people successful.
Right. It's not, you have to know who you are, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. And if you don't have that identified, especially in high school, then you are in a space that has not been developed before. So that mindfulness-based training needs to happen. And the labor market intermediary um, involves lifelong learning. So you can always come back and get re-educated on the mindfulness-based training, how to deal with conflict, you know, how to deal with addictions, how to deal with all of those areas that have created chaos or confusion. And it can be as simple as how to talk to an audience, how to handle yourself, how to dress, you know, how to,
Right.
when you should arrive at work on time. These are very important. And industry also saw the importance of the intake process. And I can give you examples such as at that time, Inco, Valet, they
Yeah.
realized that it was beneficial for them to come and uh, engage with students for work in the mine, because we took care of those upfront barriers first. So as an example, our process was a cost savings to industry, because if somebody did get in and they realized, as an example, they had addictions, you can't just fire a person because they've gone through all the steps. They have to, there's a monetary value that they have to pay for, and that treatment can take up to 6 months,
Right.
whereas we take care of that up front. So they understood that it was better to engage with us because we took care, for the most part,
Right.
those hardships.
So, Jody, you used the term labor market intermediary, which when you first said that word to me, I think my eyes glazed over because I had no idea what you were talking about.
Right.
Can you explain that a bit? And yeah, you had that nice diagram.
Sure. So on this side of the map, as an example, this is a traditional not-for-profit spectrum where they have their own personal mission and vision. And this is where ATEC sits, because it's a social enterprise not-for-profit. On this side of the spectrum, you have your traditional for-profit, and in this idea, it is Piwapan, which means a New Day construction company, and they have their own personal mission and vision and their social responsibilities. Now, where the labor market intermediary comes in is that on this side of the spectrum over here is social sustainability, and on this side is economic sustainability. But the sustainability equilibrium, that is what creates the labor market intermediary. And these are the measurable benefits of the LMI. So you share the responsibility matrix, lifelong learning supports, you share proposal writing and funding spreads towards awarded projects.
And Jody, am I seeing
Yeah.
this right? 1,216% return on investment?
Absolutely. And I can break down the numbers for you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's actually a small number. Now that we have people in level 4 and finishing their red seals, the same first 11 or 12 students that are now in class right now at University College of the North finishing their red seals, they are going to be making anywhere between $3 to $5 million once we get 50 of them there. And if you take 50 plus the rates, that's actually 2,628% return on investment for changing the lives of NEET youth, which is not in employment, education, or training. So
Right.
that's what we do.
So Jody, I can definitely see the benefits that that the people involved in the training that they're getting. What about the product, like in terms of the houses that are made? Where do those end up?
Right. So the houses that the First Nation, the students make, are resold back to the First Nation, because the First Nation would traditionally have to outsource that and get Southern contractors to come in. And since this enterprise took shape, that circular economy has been created. And that's why we're seeing, as an example, $2 million stays within the community instead of it leaving when the contractors are done. And so
Right.
those houses now are sold back to the band, and the band can put people into those homes. However that model looks, we just build the house.
Yeah. Wow, it's just like a win-win all the way around.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
Jody, what advice would you give to somebody who, one of our viewers, or if there's another community that is thinking, you know, hey, why can't we start this in our community? What would be the first steps for them to take? I know it's a huge process, but what would be your advice?
Well, our advice was it has to do with stakeholder management. So you have to have everybody at the table within a community, and that's from justice all the way to health, housing. You know, everyone has a social responsibility for a community. They all have to sit on the table, and they all have to agree and to a unified mission and vision. And once they're able to understand the mission and vision of this social enterprise, this labor market intermediary, which involves everybody,
Yeah.
the benefits are they're just there because everyone is not siloed no more. They're sharing the costs, but they're also sharing the rewards, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, Jody, it has been such a pleasure talking to you. And I feel like we've just sort of opened a tiny, tiny bit of this. And, you know, maybe at some point we could have you back to actually do a workshop or something with some of, you know, people that are interested in this.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you so much for this information.
Uh,
Roy, I'm gonna turn the time back to you. Don't leave us
Sure.
yet though, Jody. Stay there because we
Yeah.
Roy's going to present a question.
Oh, okay, guys. Well, yeah, there's so much to unpack with Jody's information. Everything's involved in that. I can't think of a better example of having a social enterprise and then making that economically sustainable so it can be better at its enterprise, right? And then they grow together. I just was really getting into that. Thank you so much, Jody. Look, let's talk prizes. We want to win something, make this a bit of excitement for someone to win some prizes every week on this show. And how it works is every week we give people a question related to our speaker, and they have to put in the comments of the video something relating to the topic, and then they win a prize. So last week we had Stephen LaRocque talking about his Arctic Gold honey, all the different flavors and benefits that happen there. And we asked people to comment on what would be a suggested flavor that Stephen should look into, or one of their favorite flavor that he currently produces in his honey. We had a fair few comments and entries, so we're going to have a look at the wheel where someone gets to win a prize. The prize is a Lenovo tablet. Are we looking at the tablet in there? Maybe not. I'll just
No.
I'll just get it. Ooh, sometimes it goes to the wrong screen. There we go. So the tablet is great for business and personal and anything you want to use it for. But it's right there in the middle. We've given away, I think, 2 already. So here goes for the third one. Let's spin the wheel and see who's going to win a prize. Should we have some music with that too? Okay. Okay, so who's going to win the tablet? There's a couple of Churchillians here I can see. I'm glad everyone's watching it. We got Caleb and there's Leroy, and here comes Miriam, and Shannon. Oh, good to you.
Oh, it's going to be close.
Shannon's going to win a prize.
It's Shannon.
Well, that was fun. Normally we had the more exciting music going on there, guys. I do apologize for not having the fast piano music. But there we go.
That music will do. That's fine.
All right, we just gave away another prize. All right, guys, listen up. Here's how you win another one of those tablets next week. Okay, what you have to do is comment in on this stream on the video produced by this live stream. So you still have a week to put your comments in if you're watching it after the live stream. And can you put in the comments what type of training, similar to what Jody's doing, it can be all sorts of training, that you would like to see in your community? So we might get some ideas for you, Jody, put on the list for the future. How does that sound?
Sure.
Yep. So that's pretty easy. I'll say it again and I'll put it in the comments. Just give us some ideas of what you'd like to see in your community for a program to come to your community and provide training to the people there to, you know, I guess improve your town and keep everybody busy. So we'll announce that on the 24th of February at 2 o'clock on the next show, guys. So
Okay,
there we go.
that's great. Well, we're coming to the close of our show, and Jody will say goodbye to you. And again, a great big thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. See you later.
Have a great week. And Roy, I just want to touch on what's coming up. Next week, our guest is Nick DiVirgilio doing the battery recycling. And there's also some workshops still happening. There's some governance training. There's one session left on February 24th, that Essentials of Succession Planning. And we are also planning to run another governance training in March. I'll give more details on that. We also have on March 2nd is social enterprise for nonprofits. So if any group or organization or person is thinking, okay, I want to know more, I want more details, that would be the workshop to go to. And tonight, our Indigenous Women's Entrepreneurship workshop is starting, and I have one spot left. So if there's, I still have that one spot, and it starts at 6:30. So if there's anybody that would like to fill that one spot, call the office 204-677-1490, or send an email ncd@northcentraldevelopment.ca, and let me know that you would like to join us.
All these workshops just sound like a good opportunity just to get together and have a chat the way, you know, things are going at the moment.
Yeah, and you know, we've got, because of doing it virtually, we have people from different places that can all join in. So we've got Churchill, Thompson, and Nelson House. So I'm excited to meet all of those women and start working with them on their business ideas. That's the great thing about it.
Everyone loves talking about the business ideas, don't they? I do.
Yes, yes, it's so exciting. You get to dream and plan, and of course, you know, there's a lot of hard work involved too. But we're also open to ideas for upcoming workshops. So if anybody is thinking, you know, I really want to learn how to do a business plan, or I really want to know how do I set up my business, how do I get it legal, you know, what are the permits that I need, or stuff like that. We can do workshops on those, and they can be short little workshops or full day workshops, whatever. So if anybody's got ideas or requests, let me know. And that's it. That's it for our show today.
All right, guys, make sure you take advantage of the wonderful Michelle's ideas and workshops. She really puts in all the effort for you guys to come together and have a chat and learn something and get excited together. So we'll all see you next week, and don't forget to comment, win your tablet, and we're going to see you with the next guest next week, and let's have heaps of fun. We'll see everybody then, hey?
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.